Nicola Bully case. Good afternoon, folks. This is going to be a couple of hours of going through a few topics. The thing is, I seem to want to kind of wrap it up, but every time I want to wrap it up, more appears. Somebody else puts out something, some evidence arises, some incorrections are made that need to be corrected by myself, some adjustments or errors need to be put right, or explanations. So there seems to constantly be something to talk about, which is good because it's very pleasant out there with all you wonderful people. The odd passerby is not so pleasant, but they just pass by. I think people realize this is a channel, a videos, many of them, for truth and justice. Please do excuse the amateurity of my videos, the downright boredom and mono screen for a whole hour on some of them, but I'm not a YouTuber. I don't have a studio or earphones or even a microphone, which is why we had sound problems, because my mouth was too far from the microphone of the phone. Now I have the phone in my mouth. Better than having my foot in my mouth, isn't it? So, here we are again, folks. The thing is, I didn't want the Nicola Bully case to be anything. Would have been nice if she was a missing person, a mispa, and appeared. It would be a nice change. But no, not so far, and seemingly not going to be. I know that sounds strange to some folk because, of course, Nicola Bully's body has been found, her funeral has taken place, or her cremation, or not sure. There's various input on that. Still outstanding, the information on whether it's verified or not that Nicola Bully's grave is in St. Michael's crematorium, cemetery, sorry. And many other outstanding factors. The case is so strange, regardless of whether any information on the address is incorrect, or whether the cemetery has Nicola's body or not. As we all know from the past 2 months almost of searching for Nicola, it's become quite clear that it's not as simple as one person has gone missing. It seems very connected to many other cases who have gone missing in a very similar way, which points to a serial killer or a serial case. When I say serial case, I mean a corporation group causing the death of people, so not always the same killer. How we verify that in general is that we look at the authorities. We always look at the authority. When somebody goes missing or something happens, even in a business, if money goes missing, the person in charge is looked at. It's always who had the keys to the safe. Well, the manager, the CEO, the boss man. So they're suspect. They had access. They were able. Therefore, they're suspect. So that is how suspicion works. Suspicion basically means the attention on who was able, who had access, or who, in this case we're saying, held the keys, who was nearby the person if it's a person that went missing. So these are the questions as to who had possibility to be involved. So when somebody goes missing, immediately it could be anybody has possible involvement. And then as you study the case and the timing and the people nearby and involved or possibly involved, suspects, etc., you understand who's not involved and who is involved. And those involved become suspects or suspicious until proven otherwise. Obviously, that's how it works. Well, in this case, when Google Maps are changed to support the hypothesis of the Lancaster Constabulary Police given to us by Rebecca Smith and Detective Riley and Dawson, whatever he is, Superintendent Dawson, etc. When that hypothesis is put forward, and protected by Google, i.e. the changing of the name of Blackpool Lane to Garstang Road by Google, who starts with the big G, remember? It's for some reason my computer is playing up, so I'm not going to touch it, but the big G and this strange little glasses G with a little nip on the top here, and you find that little nip over there on the Virgin too. Anyway, let's just stay with Google. Google is obviously Masonically owned. And when I alluded to, strong allusion to the Masons being involved in the case, once they changed the name on Google and obliterated the history and made sure it's no coincidence, then it becomes obvious that we're kind of on the right track. So let's just stick with Google for a moment. There's something else about Google, not just the big G's showing the Grand Masonic Lodge and the Grand Masters. And you can, of course, go and research who owns Google, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, all those engines and stuff are basically owned by the same person or people, and they're all Masons. This read backwards in reverse, Google would be El Goog. And sometimes there's two of something that could be just read as one because there's two of them. It's kind of like happens quite a lot in coding, unnecessary letters that you need to know to delete or not. And I'm not saying this is, but I'm just giving you a simple idea here that can be looked at. Because in reverse, Google would be El Goog, as it works out. Goog stays Goog. But El is a Latin or Spanish reference to male, i.e. male dominance, Grandmaster, Masons. And Goog, if you took away the one O, you get Gog. Now you might say, oh, that's pushing it a bit far, you can't just take away O. Well, let's just superimpose the O's. Let's just bring them together. Okay, let's put it that way. Let's just cross eyes. Say they're eyes. Let's just cross eyes. So we just go together. So we got one. If we end up with El Gog, that's obviously Gog and Magog, or Gog from Magog, which is the correct translation from the ancient texts. Now, Gog is the giant from the story, Gog from Magog, an ancient story of a giant walking around on Earth in Magog. So go and research Gog from Magog, and you may connect El Goog, Google into that story, perhaps. But let's move on to other way more obvious signs, like virgin. It's obviously denoting to purity, pure. The number one is clear and obvious there, one. The tick is clear and obvious instead of a cross. So a tick instead of a cross is a yes instead of a no. A 1 instead of a 2, 3, 4 is number 1. A plus, ace. Virgin is purity, etc., etc., etc. This cross over here denotes the cross, a cross. Yeah. So that's virgin. We could go into that a little further. I've not really looked into Richard Branson's company brand name, but now that I do, I see these two dots here. Whenever I see these two dots, these two, it makes out eyes. There's two eyes, you know. It's always eyes for me. There's always eyes. They are eyes. These are these are the eyes. They've dotted the eyes, and they look like eyes. It's interesting. And the owl eyes, we always refer to the owl eyes in this kind of, the eyes of the owl, because they very much look like this, the eyes of the wolf, to be honest, or that wolf in that picture. Anyway, you may, I'm not sure if there's another word here, because that doesn't look like the word virgin to me, does it? I mean, the G, virgin. Oh, did I do that? Oh. Right, this is my game playing up here. Computer restart. Hang on a second. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that. Click on that and let's come back here. Oh, we seem to have control for the past second. Sometimes my my cursor goes bananas, so it'll go big and small, the arrow, and move around like somebody else is moving it around completely and utterly, you know. Now and then it sort of doesn't click on screens, but it'll click on some app opening things that start to bounce, and it's kind of like, yeah, perhaps it's been hacked. Who knows? Perhaps it's just hot. Perhaps it's just too many internet users. But anyway, let's go on. So the word virgin with a G, as I say, there's the cross and the... I don't know if the word vircin, versin, is something. Maybe I'll look into that. Or irsin, I don't know. We'll have to look into it. I've not looked at these. I'm sort of adventuring with you on this little... I've never looked at virgin, but just looking at it is what I saw. The tick, the one, this cross, that makes that a C then. So that's why I'm looking at the word versin. If we made that a C and a cross instead of a G with a line underneath. So anyway, let's leave that one for a moment. Let's go down and start here in the corner. It's very obvious. M&M's. I mean, that Mason and Masons. That's obvious. Walmart, you got your M&M's again. That M's upside down. And there's M&M's. All art. All art. All art. Do notice that in the Wikipedia, and attached to one of my videos is now the Wikipedia explanation of the Masons, which refers to them as artists. So the M art, Masonic art, may be something there. And the Al is Arabic, I believe, instead of the L, which is Spanish. So you have Al everything. I'm not sure how that connects in, but just notice that's a possibility there. Burger King, of course. Burger King, there's the big G at the end, but King is in massive. So King, monarchy, control, King of the world. There's the globe idea, the big G for globe. Here's a G. This big tick around here, and this part, this yellow part, and the blue part, that makes a G. So there's a hidden G in Burger King. Moving on to MTV is absolutely obvious. Notice, of course, that TV. V is also a tick, yeah? That tick is like the tick in Nike. It's the vector. So you can go and look up what that means. It's comes into light and quantum physics and geometry and all sorts of things. And I'm sure there's so many things I'm not seeing. So please fill me in on what you know. I'm always looking to learn. That's what we are sharing about, the learning. Coca-Cola, thank you to the people who reminded me of that. I couldn't recall it. Coca-Cola in the mirror, so it's mirror image in reverse, is the Arabic, I believe, and I looked at this a long time ago, is the Arabic way for saying no Makkah or no Muhammad, no Mecca. I think Makkah and Muhammad is the same word, same reference in Arabic. So no Makkah or no Muhammad, meaning no prophet, and no Mecca, no place, no holy place. And that's why, we put it out years ago to boycott Coca-Cola, specifically the Muslim races, because of what it was saying. It's ridiculous. And linked to that, because it's the same company, is Pepsi. And there's no evidence of this, but always that for many, many years, the Pepsi has been taken in these type of fields of understanding the symbolism involved in these titles, names, labels. Pepsi used to say, pay every penny, save Israel. Intimated to save Israel. Pay every penny to save Israel. So that was about, every penny that went to Pepsi would go to save Israel, the foot of the West in the East. So that was what that was about back then. I haven't looked much into this, or even UPS, or NFL, because this kind of American, this is kind of fairly new to me. But, you know, the stars and the... Yeah, it doesn't say much to me, but that might have something to do with squares, cubes, stars in squares there, and the type of stars look like 5 stars, so same old stars you find in the police badges and things. McDonald's is so obvious. M, of course. Could refer to breasts, female breasts as well. You'll see why I'll say that in a minute. There's another reference in this same video clearly to that. So, but not with McDonald's, with another company. But yeah, M for Masons, obviously. Note the color. Most of the colors are red and blue, red and blue, red and blue. Yes, there's this gold. It's not really yellow. It's gold. It's about elitism. It's about purity. It's about gold. It's about on top of the world. It's about ownership. It's about monarchy, king, in charge, on top, etc., etc. Red bull. Both the color red and bull are part of this whole thing. The bull is, yeah, if you look into the bull, it's a kind of, yeah, it's not a nice side of this whole Masonic side of the dark side of Masonism, Masonry, Freemasonry, the Illuminati side. The bull is not really a nice side of it, but let's leave it at that. Of course, you've got the 2 bulls crashing into the sun, so there might be something there about obliterating the sun. And the colors are there, gold and red again. You come down to Honda, it's obviously Ferrari, using symbolism. All of them use symbolism. They all use horsepower. Obviously Ferrari is denoting horse to horsepower. There may be a lot more missing there on Hondas. Starbucks I was looking at earlier, can't quite see it. Somebody fill me in it, but it's something to do with 2 people. I think they intertwining somehow. They and here, these 2 hair. I just haven't had time to look at it. I've got so much to get out here. And finally, Walt Disney. Obviously, here's the G, the Masonic, the Grand Master, Grand Lodge G in Walt Disney and in Disney features. And this is the idea of, you might think it's a rainbow, but I would say Walt was well aware that we live, well, let's say allegedly, under a dome. And Walt was referencing the dome under the grand cities, referring to all cities, the kind of non-nature anymore, sort of the epiphany of the Masonic, Freemasonic, philosophical and physical builders. That's kind of the epiphany there. Oh, Walt's got it. But yeah, Walt was Freemason, very high degree Freemason, as were most of these people that are involved with most of these companies, high-ranking Freemasons. Hence, they have the companies, they have the names, they have all this symbolism going on. So, folks, when we start to refer to Freemasonry and symbolism, you kind of, that's a few examples that it's very real. And please give all reference. Every time I show you something, it's coming from somebody else. If it's in a video form, I'm just using it to talk about. So True Visit, Video Mojo, this is all credit to them, please. And thank you to you for putting it all on one page there just for me. So folks, referencing this, keeping in mind, let's just show you, I've just got to show you this. Amazon. Bah. Can you see it, folks? They tell you that it's the A to Z, and you've got the arrow there again, and the vector. But can you see it? It says A Mason. amason.com. Just, this is an S. So yeah, a Mason, a Mason. And of course, Jeff Bezos is now the richest man in the world. Last I looked, a couple of years ago, or last year or something, he became the richest man in the world, especially over the 2019 big C issue, big C word issue that hit the world for a couple of years and is still damaging everybody. That basic attack on humanity, let's say. Well, this guy, due to everybody being at home, isn't it interesting that, of course, his company that had now finally developed to where it was, globally functioning perfectly, boom, came that time where everybody couldn't go anywhere and, of course, relied on him. And the Mason.com. And of course, he became the richest man in the world because everybody had everything delivered. In it, folks. Even is an M. So, that's all I'm going to show you there. But they are everywhere. I've got to show. They are in many places. They pop up in many places. So, I said to you that I wasn't being funny with the McDonald's sign possibly symbolizing breasts, because X refers to no sex, i.e. X, as in relationships, your ex is not your sex. So that's kind of one of the understandings of it, and therefore always alludes you to understanding about sex. But you will find that sex is sold. It sells. Everybody, if it's sexual, it sells, sadly. Like these tostitos. I mean, folks, you could not make this up. So I'm not alluding to the female breasts in McDonald's as anything. It's clear as day, and it's clear as day in Tostitos. And of course, it doesn't take a great mind to see a phallic symbol in the center of the tit. I mean, you know, folks, this is what is called hidden agendas, reversed symbolism, Masonic symbolism, virtue signaling, neuro-linguistic programming, all those things. This is the G hidden in a smile. How deceptive. You see a smile, you see an I, you see a G. An I and a G, meaning the I, the mouth, but then it's a G. Remember, the Illuminati, the left eye, that's the way the G goes, as in goodwill, as in the word good, there's the two eyes, good will. There's the G, it's in that direction, so that's the left eye of Horus, the left eye, the eye of providence, the eye you see down here, proving the Illuminati is real. There's the eye. The symbolism, folks, is as subtle and as blatant depending on how you go through it. You know, it's everywhere. Everywhere. In all of them. Right. So, Also, where it's found is here. What you're looking at, folks, is the band on the hat of every police force in the UK. Has the same band, different badge, but all the symbolism in every single badge, as I pointed out, is Masonic. It proves clearly that every single police force is Masonic and run by the Masons. And this black and white checkered band running along the peak and along the edge here is in every single Masonic lodge you will ever enter in your entire life. It is the most common Masonic symbolism out. The reason for that is because it's black and white, no color, no creativity, no beauty, just black and white, straightforward. And it's cubed, squared in squares, checkered blocks like chess. These squares or cubes denote the fourth dimension from where this is all run, as it were, but that would be stepping outside of the Masons and to their rulers and controllers, which is the next step for later videos. But the Masonic checkered floors are seen in every single lodge in the world.